All right, everybody, I'm here with Judy Crandall from Eagle Editions Ltd. Real quick, how did the company start, Judy?
We started in 1974. My late husband, Jerry Crandall, and I started the company with his paintings, with his Western art. And in 1982, we were contacted by an aviation gallery to do a B-17 to celebrate B-17 painting to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the B-17 for Boeing Museum.
Okay.
And he's always worked for McDonnell Douglas, and he loves the Old West, and he loves airplanes, fell in love with the Focke-Wulf and the 109, and at a Bond drive when he was 10. He leaned over it and looked into it and smelled it, and he said, I've got to find out about the men and the machines of World War II.
That's incredible.
So we've got Luftwaffe and we've got American West. So we started in 74 with his art. In 82, we branched out into aviation. And then in 96, we decided to get into book publishing.
Yeah.
Since the 60s, he had been interviewing Luftwaffe pilots, and he always had a dream to write books. And this was his last book. He passed away in June of 22. This was his last book, Fighters of the Iron Cross. And it's a compilation of some of the Luftwaffe fighter pilots who we interviewed, and copies of their planes and all about their combat events. This is the number 2 volume of a 2-volume set on the Focke-Wulf 190 Dora, which was his favorite aircraft. He loved the inline Dora. Volume 1 has long been sold out. And then I don't have any of his other books here. These are other books by other authors. Wolfgang Falk was interesting. Good friend of ours. We visited with him and his wife in Austria. And Wolf was the father of the night fighters, the Luftwaffe.
Oh, wow.
And he's just a special guy. He wanted to write a story. He said, Judy, you publish books. Would you write my story? And he said, I don't know where to start. I said, Wolfie, let me send you a tape recorder and a bunch of cassette tapes, and you just start talking. Yep. And I said, if you speak English, he was with NATO for a while. And he said, well, if I speak in German, is that okay? I said, sure. You speak in whatever language we want. We have a translator. So I got back 7 tapes of him just talking. And he tells his whole story from the very beginning.
Wow.
When in 1938 he was invited to go to Russia to learn to fly 110s and whatever airplanes they had at the time. I'm not the historian, Jerry was. Then we started recently a series. I think it was about 20 years ago we started the Wings of the Black Cross series. And Jerry had written the first 2 or 3. Now Mark Pruell of, see here, Jerry did the first 2. Mark Pruell took over. And when Jerry was passing away, he said from his hospital bed, Judy, I want you to continue with Eagle. And I said, I will, as long as I can. Yeah. And he said, and I want Mark to continue the Wings of the Black Cross. And this is a series of photos that Mark has collected. Of course, Jerry was a photo collector as well. Most of these are unpublished. And through the captions, Mark explains, and Jerry, of course, in the first 2, what the units are, who the pilot was, and then in the back we have color profiles of some of the paintings. And then last year Mark came up with the idea to do Wings of the Allies. Let's branch out, and so we're doing a series, Wings of the Allies, the European Air War, and of course it'll have Hurricanes and Spitfires and P-47s and the usual. Our artist, and in this section too is a new section for this series. It's called A Closer Look. And in every one of these issues, they'll have, Mark will prepare, this particular one is Operation Tidal Wave. Okay. He might have something about a P-47 unit or something that was significant. And in the back of the book, we have color profiles by James Bentley.
Wow.
And he is a fabulous guy to work with. Doesn't complain. If we say the tail should be pink, he'll paint it pink. I mean, he follows our instructions We never guess on anything. Honestly, we never guess. Jerry was a stickler for presenting the facts and letting the reader determine the conclusion, or if possible.
Those are incredible. Those look like some great reference material.
They're excellent for modelers who love them, and they're reasonably priced, $20, $25, depending. You know, so they're an excellent.
Okay.
And in addition to Jerry was very much of a color guy.
Yeah.
He and a number of the other top Luftwaffe guys would discuss colors by the hour, by the day. So Jerry decided we should do a real Luftwaffe color chart, which we did. We actually went to Wernicke and Bain, and they gave us their original recipes, and this was in Bavaria, and we made up these color charts. These are not printed. These are actual painted ships.
Oh, that's cool.
And then, of course, we have the certificate of authenticity from Wernicke and Bain.
Okay.
They were recognized by the RLM as the supplier of the Luftwaffe paints, and they were the designer or the inventor of a substance called Icarol, which they put over the planes to prevent them from peeling, especially in the Mediterranean when they would get wet.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So if you want to win a Facebook argument about what color plane, you should get that chart.
Yes, you should.
And what else do we have here,
Okay,
Judy?
we have a series of parts. Jerry would buy, of course, he was a fantastic modeler and had the usual thousands of kits in the stash.
Right.
And he actually built models for commissions.
Yeah.
In fact, he was working on the U-boat 552? And we sold it for a commission, on a commission. Well, some of the parts on the Luftwaffe air fighters, like the Dora 9 or the A8 or even the 109, some of the manufacturers didn't quite get it right, and he was a stickler for authenticity. He really was. So we designed a series of parts that could be retrofitted for a Tamiya, for an Edward, for a Zukimura if needed. And he was a fanatic about the D9, and he always complained about the guns on the nose.
Yeah.
And so we made a number of 3-piece and 5-piece gun hoods, and they were correct and appropriate. We had cockpits and that sort of thing. But our hallmark, other than these two series, is our decals.
Right. And I gotta say, I love your decals. And I told you this yesterday, but I will get lost down, a Google rabbit hole of just looking at your decals and what you have. And then it turns into me buying more kits I don't need because I'm going to build that plane, or I'm going to build that plane. So you guys are, probably the bane of my checking account sometimes, but
we love you, Austin.
Oh, I love them too. So.
But Jerry wanted to design some decals, and so we hired a designer to do them, and Jerry would feed him the information. Many times, if we have the photos that we can use to publish, sometimes they're not allowing us to publish the owners. The owners of the photos won't allow us to publish it, but we will actually publish an insert of the photo of the actual plane. One of our favorites, of course, is the Doors of the Gallant Circus was our first Eagle Files, which was another series that's now sold out.
Yeah.
But this is the famous Papagei Staffel, or the red and white stripe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are gorgeous.
And we've redone some of these, modified. After new photos surfaced, we were able to modify some of the numbers to make the proper shapes, and and then we have BF-109s, we've got Typhoons, Spitfires. I love the Mark 1 Spitfire. We've got 110s, you name it, we've got it.
Yeah. Who prints your decals?
Cartograph.
Great.
In Italy.
Great. Yep.
And of course, James Bentley has been doing our last batch of decals. We have had other artists do them through the years, and they've either retired or gone on. But James Bentley is currently our profile artist.
Great. That's awesome. Yeah, I love them. there's a set of Corsair decals I'm probably going to buy today. So
Good boy.
yeah,
Good boy.
you didn't have to try too hard.
No. No.
Well, Judy, thanks for sharing. Thanks for showing us the inside of Eagle Editions and what you guys did and how you started. I love the history, and I love all the work you guys have put into your research and stuff. So I appreciate the time you gave us, and I hope you do well this weekend.
Thank you, Austin. I appreciate the offer to present our business to the world.
No problem.
I do miss Jerry. I wish he were here. He loved IPMS. In fact, he knew who's the founders of. I can't remember his name, but he knew him, and they got together, and he was one of the first men to bring a German pilot to speak at the banquet in Chicago.
Oh, that's cool.
And I think that was in the 60s.
Yeah.
In the 60s. He
That makes
was
sense.
living in Atlanta at the time, and he picked up Horst Petzler in Wichita and drove him up to Chicago, and they had a Luftwaffe panel discussion about what it was like. And of course, Horst was this big old guy and just animated, and he could have a belly laugh, and all the guys just had such a ball. I wish I could have been there.
Me too.
But I was in high school.
Yeah, I wasn't even around yet.
No, but thank you again, Austin.
Yeah, I
I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Judy.
Ciao.